were some of the most challenging practicals you've had to deal with?
Well, I think that scene in Sicario, because it was such a big space and it was night and the lights appeared in shot, and it was a matter of getting a light level too. You know, there was a lot of coverage there. We didn't have a lot of days to shoot, so the light had to be the light. There was no way I was going to light individual shots.
Right.
I mean, what I did in that, I used large 8x4 polystyrene sheets to bring a bit of light in people's faces, but it was only catching the light that was coming from the practicals that the art department had put up for me. So that was a challenge. But then, the extreme from that is the last scene in Prisoners, where you're lighting a whole hole in the ground with a, what do they go?
Key fob, right.
With a little light on a key fob. I mean, and that's all it was. We didn't dummy or anything. That was a key fob.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm rambling now, but that's what's so great about having, a camera that you can actually push to like, I don't know, 800, 1200 ASA. I forget what we shot that at, but it certainly wasn't 200, or 100, which would be the fastest stock I would have when I started, in the business. Yeah, I mean, the fastest stock was 100 ASA when I was at film school, I think. And then a 500 came in after a few years. I think I'm right.
And then sometimes when you have a scene that has a candle in it or fire or something, you oftentimes amplify it. I remember in Secret Garden, didn't she walk down the hallway with a candle and you had to, and you had Biggles overhead with a light.
Yeah,
right?
I did it. Actually, it was on, Biggles the gaffer. He had a pole with a 60-watt bulb hung off the end of the pole, and he panned the lamp, this, just an ordinary 60-watt household bulb. It was dimmed down, so it was quite not very bright, but he kind of panned it as over, so it was over the candle during the shot, so the character. Yeah, actually, the first time I did that was a scene in Mountains to the Moon, where it worked much better because it was a lovemaking scene and it was all lit with a candle, and then we did the same thing with a little bulb hung over the top of the candle, just out of the camera frame. But what I tended to do more is actually dummy. You could put a bulb behind a candle if the actress or actor can hold the candle in the right angle to the camera all the time. That's the problem with that one. Nowadays, obviously, you can get a triple wick candle and you can just shoot it with the light that comes out a triple wick candle, which is great. But on the other hand, it might not be the look you want. I mean, then I think of the scenes in 1917, where in Erimore's bunker, the first bunker, which is lit by these oil lamps. Now, the prop department, Lee brought these oil lamps and said, well, these work. They had a whole selection, and they were period oil lamps that they actually got in France. And so I said, I needed something with a glass on the front because I can't shoot directly at the point source because I know it's not going to be a candle, which is what it would have been. I'm going to have to dummy that with quartz bulbs or halogen bulbs. And so I needed some glass in front of whatever that was. So they provided me with this, quite a range actually. It was 4 or 5 different versions. And together we said, well, we like these. These will work just aesthetically. These look kind of good. They look kind of punchy, which suit, they didn't look like Victorian lanterns that were so pretty, and ornate. They looked like World War I's lamps. And they were all period correct, place specific. But I needed to put 2 bulbs in each lamp, and the main ones that were lighting the scene, because the way we were shooting it, there was nowhere I could put another light source. So as I was explaining on the site to somebody the other day, I put 2 bulbs in line with the camera angle, so the bulb that's facing the camera was always dimmed down, and the bulb facing away was brighter. So, and then the glass had a little frost on it, so it didn't flare the lens. That was the trick of that. And it's all dimmed down, so it all feels like the same temperature as it would have been if it was a candle. And then as the camera comes around and it looks back at the lamp that started the shot, then the levels on the two bulbs is reversed, so that the one again, so that slowly the one away from camera is brighter than the one to the camera. So there's all these things. It looks like, I mean, I hope it looks like it's just a lantern put on a table, but it's not as simple as that. It's like quite a lot of research to figure out how the bulbs could fit in the lamp, making sure that you're allowed to do that with a lamp, and it's, as I say, not an antique that you can't do something with. And then you've got to wire it. You've got to know what the blocking of the shot is, and you've got to wire the lamp so the wire doesn't appear in shot. Then you have to rehearse with a dimmer operator to get that whole thing in sync. So, I mean, you know.
So there's really two types of situations. One where you have to make those practicals work for whatever angle, because either time is short or it's such a big location that you can't be fooling around with it. And then the other one, like in 1917, where we knew exactly where everybody was going to be when and where the camera was going to be, you can do that kind of dimming up and dimming down.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, working on 1917 was a bit more like working with the Coen brothers, where, you know, they would really work out in a quite detailed way how the scene would be. I was thinking of one scene with Javier Sugar in the motel room, and he's lit by a lamp that's fallen off the table. There's been fight or something.
A scuffle, as they say. And she had to figure how that lamp was going to fall off the table and how it was going to give a pattern of light that would be kind of
Ăn trái cây đi anh.
Dạ được rồi, con
Anh đi đường có mệt không? Dùng mini cho nó lấy đất nha.
Đây khẩu trang gì mà anh, đây.
Không có cần đâu anh. Trời, mình trong nhà không mà mình ngồi mình nói chuyện xa nhau vậy là được rồi, không có cần phải đeo đâu anh.
Không, anh lại hai em, anh lại em đeo khẩu trang.
Anh kỳ quá, không có cần đâu, đừng có xéo.
Trời ơi. Đây đây khẩu trang đi anh. Đây.
Không có cần đâu anh. Trời, mình trong nhà không mà mình ngồi mình nói chuyện xa nhau vậy là được rồi, không có cần phải đeo đâu anh.
Không anh lại hai em, anh lại em đeo khẩu trang
Anh
gì.
kỳ quá, không có cần đâu, đừng có khách sáo.
Trời ơi.
Cái cây với anh.
Được rồi.
Anh đi đường có mệt không? Dùng cái đi cho nó mát nha.
Đây khẩu trang giùm anh. Đây.
Không có cần đâu anh. Trời mình trong nhà không mà.
Denied.
I believe I can. I believe.
Game.
Đây khẩu trang giùm anh. Đây.
Không có cần đâu anh. Trời mình trong nhà không.
Giùm anh. Đây.
Không có cần đâu anh. Trời mình trong nhà không mà mình ngồi mình nói chuyện xa nhau vậy là được rồi. Không có cần phải đeo đâu anh.
Không.
Talking about, man. Okay.
Mình anh lại hai em bên lại em. Em đây.
Anh kỳ quá. Không có cần đâu. Đừng có khách sáo.
Trời ơi.
Do it! Just do it! No! God! No! God!
Son, where?
Oh, hi. Thanks for.
Have you ever had a once?
What? Bro, what are you?
What's your profanity?
Shut! Oh my God!
Text to speech for everyone.
Đã bảo đeo khẩu trang.
Ăn trái cây đi anh.
Dạ được rồi.
Anh đi đường á, có
Khẩu trang.
ăn trái cây đi anh.
Dạ được rồi.
Anh đi đường á, có mệt không? Dùng miếng đi cho nó mát nha.
Đây khẩu trang giùm anh. Đây.
Không có cần đâu anh. Trời, mình trong nhà không mà mình ngồi mình nói chuyện xa nhau vậy là được rồi. Không có cần phải đeo đâu anh.
Không mà anh lại hay em, mình lại em đeo.
Anh kỳ quá, không có cần đâu, đừng có khách sáo.
Trời ơi.
Quite a bit noirish, you know. You didn't want a big soft shade on the lamp that was just going to soft lit the room. I didn't. I wanted something really hard that was that so the lamp could fall down and shoot back up at Javier sitting on the bed, and so that space was quite hardly lit. And then the bathroom beyond, where there's a body lying, is really bright. And then that was fluorescence, and the whole feel of that is quite cool. And that was a set. So that was all kind of constructed into the set, you know.
And sometimes don't we get locations that are basically fluorescence, and sometimes can't be changed, and you have to make it work.
You know, obviously the main one you're there with is supermarkets and you know, grocery stores. But I mean, that's naturalistic. If if
green
it works.
is natural in those
And
things.
green, now I'm less inclined. Well, I was never really inclined to change tubes. Sometimes you would, because it was just sometimes they were so far out, it didn't feel right. But again, it depends on the scene. I think I've only changed tubes in supermarkets in my whole career, only maybe twice. I mean, it's kind of expensive. But I think one of those times I changed them because I didn't. I think one of those times I changed them because I wanted them greener. You know, so you kind of want it to look a bit more grimy or than actually the existing light. But you know, again, it depends on the film. It depends on the scene. You know, it depends on the budget, obviously.
Somebody asked this question, which I love. I know the answer to this one. When you're out and about in the world, do you find yourself looking at lamps, let's say in a restaurant, and judging how they would fare as a practical source of lighting and how they would be used? And the answer, Roger, to that is yes, you do.
No, all the time. I mean, I think it's part of your way of seeing. I mean, I'm always aware of. I'm looking at the light outside the door now, the way the sun's kicking on a tree out there. You know, I mean, yeah, I'm always looking at lights. We were in a restaurant last night. I was looking at the light sources thinking, well, what would you do if you wanted to boost this? It was really nicely lit, but I'm not sure it would come out well on film. So, you know, there's a whole balance. And then there's the whole thing. It's like, okay, it's a two-hander at a table in a big restaurant, and the actor and actress have got to look nice.
Whoops.
You know, so you can't have, you know, dim top light necessarily, especially on the actress probably. So then you've got to figure, with the art department again, what are you going to do? And usually you think about putting something on the table or hanging something quite close to their heads. I remember one film we had these little practicals made for the set. So there was little practicals with a nice little diffusion on them. We were put in the middle of the table, you know, so it lit both characters really nicely. But I felt I wanted to warm it up and soften it down a bit more. So I remember on the close shots, I put a 40-watt bulb on the table. Dimmed it way down, but all it was a 40-watt bulb. And I think the actress, who I won't mention, was quite shocked because they usually used to sort of lamps coming in and all this.
Yes,
But
right.
I must say, I thought she looked fabulous. I hope she thought she looked fabulous. I did anyway, with this 40-watt bulb.
All right, one more question. What are your pet peeves about the way practicals are sometimes used?
Well, everybody has a different way of doing it, you know. I mean, as I was saying before, I like a practical ensure. I like the way a scene looks to be justified by the lighting, by a light source, whether it's a window or a practical, or you know, or if it's like Blade Runner, it's just the soft overhead orange sky. I mean, I don't know. I like it to feel real in the sense that the light is doing something real, whatever that. Even the caustics in Blade Runner coming off the water, or those funny patterns. I mean, they're wild, but it's real. That's
What would happen, yeah.
A hard light, you know, sunlight hitting water would do that. I mean, you know, obviously everybody's seen it around the swimming pool. So I like it to feel real, and I like feeling I like within the scene somewhere to see that practical, or see the window, to know the justification for the light in the space. And
yes, you need to see it, yeah.
Yeah, you need. For me, I always like to see it in shot. And then, you know, the other shots, you can soften it off. You can light close-ups separately, but always with the feeling that the lighting is justified by this one shadow.